What's up guys, Bramsy here and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are going to be discussing everything to do with MW3, everything that we know so far, my opinions on the game, whether or not I think it's going to be a success, whether I think it's going to be a good game. I just thought we'd touch base, speak about it and go through a couple of things, seeing as it's going to be the game that we've got to play for the next year. So, as you probably already are aware and have seen, we've already had the teaser trailer and we've already had a gameplay trailer as well, I believe, showing off some of the campaign, in which we had a couple of things confirmed. I think Verdansk is officially confirmed to be back from that. Also, of course, Makarov returns to the story, which, you know, we all like, especially if, you know, you played the original Modern Warfare. It's always good to have some of the original characters back. So that's good. We also had an in-game event, I believe, a couple of days ago. I believe it was in Warzone. I'm going to be honest, I didn't actually play it myself, and I haven't watched any videos on it, so I have no idea what the event was. So I can't actually comment if it was any good or not. However, I do know we've had an in-game event. It's pretty much out there now. Modern Warfare 3, you know, is coming out, and most of the things that, you know, we had rumoured and had debated for so long are pretty much now all but confirmed at this point. So we're going to go through some of those things. So for a start, let's talk about the gameplay. So from the trailer that released the other day, it looks as if we're heading back towards kind of MW 2019 style of gameplay. Slide cancelling is back, and like basically MW 2019 movement. I believe I read somewhere as well that dolphin diving is still going to be in the game, which, to be honest, I'm not actually mad about. I didn't like it at the start of MW2, but it did grow on me towards the end, and it started to become quite a unique feature, especially when it comes to competitive COD. It actually comes quite in handy. Obviously the perks are now gear, so I believe they're now, you know, you wear like tactical gloves or something for faster reload and things like that, and there's certain type of boots that you wear for dead silence and that sort of thing, which reminds me, dead silence is also back. Whether or not that's going to be in the form where it is confirmed to be a perk, whether that's dead silence or ninja, but either way, we've got it back as a perk or gear in this sense, so that's really good to see. Obviously, we haven't had dead silence properly in the game for so many years now. It's just been a continuous specialist to use, and honestly, it's just COD should never ever have dead silence or ninja as a specialist. It should always be a perk. So that's really good, and of course, we also have the classic minimap back. So my thoughts on this straight away is, while this is a good sign for COD and also for competitive COD in general, I don't know if it's something I can really praise, because all they've done is brought back features that already existed and they took away from us for no real reason. So it's not something I can praise. I mean, it sounds obviously solid. It sounds like the game's going to be a success because of the things that they've got put back in it. But again, it's not new. It's not new features. They've just added what people have complained about not having for the last couple of years. Like, I don't know, to me it just seems like a bit of a cop-out. So yeah, you know, interesting one to see whether or not, you know, as I say, whether it's something you can really praise or not. It's been kind of mixed reviews on that, of whether or not that's something you can actually praise the developers for. But hey ho, I mean, at least it's coming back. That's something, I guess, something to actually congratulate them on. We also got to see glimpses of the campaign, and I believe there was a couple of interviews the other day talking about how the campaign is going to be done this year, slightly different. Now, I play every campaign on every Call of Duty that comes out. As I say, I'm not huge on campaign. In terms of once I've done it once, that's it, I've done it. But there's like a new feature coming out this year where you can play missions differently. So I believe they're trying to make the campaign more playable, as in you can play it multiple times, the same mission, and have different outcomes of different situations going on. I can't actually remember what they called it. I think it was like open mission or something like that. So it's kind of like you play the same mission, but you do it slightly differently. And you can, you know, take on a stealth approach or guns a-blazing approach, however it is you want to do it, which is pretty cool, I guess. I mean, again, I don't know how much COD campaigns can warrant playing for a second time over. As I say, they're usually really good stories and things like that. I mean, you know, the story of Catching Price and Ghost has never been disappointing, but whether or not that's something you can play continuously, like play it over and over again, I don't know if it warrants that for me, but it's a cool feature nonetheless for people that do really like the single player. So I'm not, you know, going to complain about that. We've had zombies confirmed as well. Again, they've done the typical, it's going to be the scariest zombie experience yet. I mean, I've heard that phrase in every single Call of Duty that's ever released zombies. However, this time it seems they're taking a very different approach to zombies. From what I can gather, it sounds like more of like an open world style zombies, which I can only gather is going to be like a style of Warzone. So it's almost like, you know, you're in a big old Warzone map and there's other players. and there's zombies running around. That's kind of how they've explained it. So whether or not we still get in a classic mode where we can have round-based system like normal, or whether or not they've just taken a whole new approach at zombies on this game, I don't know. But that has come to light because of the fact that it seems that they're going to be removing DMZ, which I haven't played much of myself personally. However, I've seen a lot of videos on DMZ, and to be honest, it seems like a solid game mode. It seems really enjoyable, and it seems like they actually put a hell of a lot of effort into it when it comes to the missions and stuff. Unfortunately, it didn't seem to grasp the audience as much as I thought it was going to. You know, those style of games, extraction games, are widely loved in the gaming community. So it's a shame that it didn't do better than I thought it was going to. And it's a shame that they're going to remove it completely. You know, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of YouTubers and a lot of streamers that have built their channels and their streams off of DMZ. And they're now about to have that completely taken away from them. So it's now a case of they are physically going to have to create content via other means because that game mode is being taken away. And honestly, some of the videos I've seen of DMZ, like, there's a certain way to play that game mode. Like, it's a very strategic game mode. It looked quite fun, to be honest with you. As I say, I'm hoping maybe now in the off-season I can give that a go myself and see what it's all about. But as I say, from content I've seen of DMZ, it did look like a fun game mode. And I'm one of these people that I may not play all of these different game modes, but there's no reason to take them away. You know, the more modes, the more options for the game, the better, the way I see it anyway. I understand from a developing point of view, that's probably not the answer. Obviously, you know, having to develop more and more things. But it's like, you know, for example, Warzone does it, where they take away a playlist, like they take away duos, and then they add quads, and it's like, well, people don't want to play quads right now, people want to play duos, you know, if there's only two of you on, or, you know, things like that. So it's almost like, I'm fine with you adding new playlists, new game modes, new maps, whatever. But at the same time, keep the old stuff. There's no reason to change the stuff that people enjoy anyway. There's no reason to change the things that people already like. It just kind of seems like a waste of time from their part. But, yeah, I don't know. DMZ being removed is kind of like a... I don't see why it's being done, but, I mean, the zombie mode could be a success, you know. If it's a DMZ-style, extraction, zombie-esque game mode, it could be pretty fun. So, you know, we'll soon find out, I suppose. Talking a little bit about what we know when it comes to the weapons. I believe everything from MW2 is carried over. So that means the guns, the operators, the camos, absolutely everything. However, they've got additional like weapons and camos and things like that for MW3 weaponry. So we've got basically two sets of different weapons, which will be interesting to see how that affects the competitive scene. Because, as I say, we've had the Vaznev and Attack 56 for the last year. Will it still be those guns, or are we going to move on to MW3 guns, or are we just going to have a wider range of weapons to pick from? You know, back in Black Ops 2, we had the AN-94, the M8A1, the MP7, we had the Scorpion. You know, there were so many different options to use when it comes to weapons, rather than just being, you know, taken down to two guns that you can use. A sub and an AR, and there's the only two, or a sniper as well, of course. So it'd be interesting to see if we now get a mix-up of weapons, or if we're going to end up with another year at Attack 56 and the Vaznev, or move on to a whole new weapon set entirely. And it does appear that apparently the camos are different from Modern Warfare 3 guns and MW2 guns, so there is still a reason to have progression, which makes sense, I guess. You know, but I mean, if you're just going to end up using the MW2 guns, I don't know, it could bite them a little bit, but I like the fact there's still a reason to progress. I don't know too much about the prestige system. Obviously, I know a lot of Call of Duty fans would prefer there to be the classic prestiges again, where, you know, you go through first prestige, second prestige, third prestige, rather than the seasonal prestiges that they currently do. Personally, I prefer the original ones. There was just so much satisfaction out of leveling up. I mean, that was back when I enjoyed pubs, and it was just so satisfying to play it continuously, level up, and then prestige. And, you know, it was just, back in the day, it was important. It was really important, and now it just feels like your ranks are irrelevant. I don't know how to explain it really. But it does just feel like the rank nowadays doesn't mean as much as what it used to. But I think the biggest thing that people want to know is about the maps. So it has been officially confirmed that all the maps in MW3 are going to be from MW2 2009. So all 16 maps from MW2 are going to be in MW3. I think they are the only maps the game is starting with. So that's a bit of a weird one for me, because I think that they have gone the wrong way about it. Now, I am all for nostalgia when it comes to these maps. Obviously, Modern Warfare 2 was one of the first ever Call of Duties that I really sunk my teeth into when it comes to leveling up. I believe I even went to the midnight launch for MW2. And I'm happy for all them maps to return. Do I think they should be the only 16? The only maps in the game? No. Probably should have had maybe another 7 or 8, just different maps entirely, completely new maps, because it kind of, again, just feels like this whole cop-out that they're bringing things back. And I know it's what people want. I myself want it too, but I also do like a bit of different, you know, just chuck things in there that are a little bit different. If we like them, we like them. If we don't, we don't. I don't know, I just feel like, again, it's another cop-out. It's lazy developing for me, in my opinion. As I say, I'm not complaining that they've got their maps back for nostalgia reasons. It's fantastic. But yeah, it just seems like they could have done a hell of a lot more with the maps than what they've currently done. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's going to be pretty interesting to see the competitive maps that we have and how Hardpoint will play out on some of these maps. As if, you know, will the competitive modes change? Is Control confirmed? We don't even know, you know. Will we have another third mode? Will we not have 3 modes at all? But it'll be interesting to see how some of those game modes play out on MW2, because obviously, MW2 maps, because obviously we never had those back then. Obviously we had Search and Capture the Flag and things, but we never had Hardpoint and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how they play out and what maps get picked for the pool. But overall, yeah, I mean, overall I'm excited for the new COD. I think we've got a solid Call of Duty year coming up. I mean, I'd like to get my hopes up pretty much every year. But I really do think we're going to get a decent game out of this one. If, you know, the fact that everything is coming back, you know, classic mini-maps, it just, Dead Silence, it just feels like the game is going in the right direction. Obviously, there is still so many areas they could cause problems. Classic movement is back as well. You know, just everything about it seems like solid. But Call of Duty never fails to amaze me. You know, as much as I get excited for a new game, it can let me down just as quickly. So, I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but honestly, if this game lives up to the expectation that it has given us so far leading up to release, we are in for a seriously good year of Call of Duty, and I cannot wait to drop content on that game. But that's going to be it for me, talking about a game of MW3 and how I feel about it, my views and opinions on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm curious to know your thoughts on this next game and whether or not you think it's going to be a success or not. As I say, for the lack of uploading recently, I have been streaming a hell of a lot more, especially, well, I'm trying to stream a hell of a lot more recently. Pretty much every weekday nearly. I do work full time, so I'm trying to stream anywhere between about obviously like 6:30 at night up until about 10:30, 11, and that's GMT. So trying to stream as much as I possibly can. So that may lack the content a little bit. Just been focusing on streaming quite a bit recently. So if you guys do want to join me up on my stream, go in the description below. The link will all be there. I'll probably be streaming at the time this video goes live. And yeah, as I say, that's my opinions on Modern Warfare 3. I think, you know, we could be in for one of the best Call of Duties in years. So I'm hoping it lives up to the expectation. But that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you all so much for joining, and I will speak to you in the next one. See you later, guys. Peace.